it's Shona here from Creative Zone, and in this video I've got these recycled plastic containers. So one is a long rectangular one, as you can see, and the other is just a vitamin container. And I'm going to tape them together and use them as a base for a paper mache clay head. I'm using the head as part of the sculpture that I'm creating at the moment, and I thought I'd share this process with you in case you want to try any of your own paper mache projects. I've got another video that you can watch showing you how I made the egg carton clay. And what I like about this is not only recycling materials, the egg cartons, the plastic, the newspaper, all sorts of things that normally get thrown in the rubbish. So I like that aspect of it, and I also like the aspect of creating something beautiful with recycled and repurposed things. If you like that kind of thing too, then I'm sure you can find these easily around your own home. So I started off, it's a really rough process, as you'll see. So don't worry too much. There's no way of getting it wrong. There's no perfect way of doing this. I've just scrunched up some newspaper, and I'm basically padding a head sort of shape out of the newspaper and using masking tape to attach it to the plastic containers. I've seated the rectangular container, as you can see, inside the smaller one, which is going to be the neck. And then I just do this over and over again. So just lightly scrunching the paper into sort of puffy shapes and using the masking tape to tape them on. So I'll leave you with it so you don't have to listen to me talking all the way through. Enjoy the process, and I will pop in towards the end and explain a few other things. So I just want to pop back in here and mention that I probably, doing this again, probably wouldn't use this blue masking tape. Reason being that it is, I found it anyway, more difficult to attach the paper mache to when it came to the time to start putting the layers of newspaper over the top of it that were coated in glue. So I much prefer the white, the plain masking tape. It has a different coating on it, is my understanding of why. It still worked, however, and I had run out of the white creamy coloured masking tape, and so I had a roll of the blue and decided to use that. So I'm just letting you know for your own benefit that it's probably best to stick with just the plain masking tape. It has a kind of a rough surface on it, whereas this blue is very smooth and plasticky and a little bit more difficult to get the paper to stick to, as I said. So on with the rest of it, and I'll And so now I'm going to start putting the egg carton clay onto the paper mache. I've left the paper mache to dry. It dried for a couple of days, and I'm adding just a little bit of the wood glue I don't think it's completely necessary, but I need to be assured that this is going to stay together, as it's going to be a piece that's being sold. And so I decided to use an additional kind of reinforcement with the wood glue. So I've got my paper mache, the egg carton clay here, and I'm just going to start moulding it around the paper that I've already done some facial features with the paper mache, and now I'm going to be using the clay on top of that to add to that and puff it out a little bit, or buff it out a little bit, or whatever word you want to use. And so what I found really useful was using a little bit of the wood glue. I ended up watering down the wood glue for the paper mache, but for this process I'm just using straight wood glue. And I use a little bit of water on my fingertips, and I'm using patting motions, and also you'll see me using circular motions with my fingers to smooth the paper mache clay down over the figure. This is the nose area, as you can see, and the ears I put a little bit of paper mache at the sides to elevate those. And I basically just went round the whole head and used this same technique of pushing it onto the frame that I'd made and then flattening it out by using the wood glue and a little bit of water on my fingertips. And I just repeated this process and adjusted things and took clay away and added clay until I was happy. There is something to be aware of in that once the paper mache dries, mine's been drying now for nearly a week, and it does have a lot of shrinkage and changes the way that the face looks when the clay is wet. Obviously it's going to be painted, however you may want to add another layer of clay when you've completed this one. It depends what you're trying to do with your head or with your clay project. So just wanted to make you aware of that there is shrinkage and change of colour. I'm all right with that because, like I said, I'm going to be painting over this, and I'm pretty sure that with that I'll be able to create a look that I'm happy with. If you have any questions that I haven't answered, please feel free to leave them in the comments below and I will answer them. Really love getting your comments, hearing your suggestions, hearing what's worked for you. I'm sure there's a lot of experienced craftspeople out there who've been doing this for a long time and have easier techniques that have been honed over the years that you've been doing it. I wanted to make this video to share my own process as somebody who is fairly amateurish at this, in the hope that it would help people to just begin and not feel like they needed to be an expert or know how to do this in any kind of technical way. I think all of us have our own creative visions and creative inspirations, and it's really lovely to have you along for the ride here. And so yeah, I look forward to hearing any suggestions or any comments that you may want to share. So we're coming to the end of the video, and it's been a very productive time, and I hope that you have enjoyed the process and can see and be inspired by my process in starting your own or finishing your own. And like I said earlier, if you have any questions or comments, please type them in below. Happy to answer. And as you can see, I've still got quite a ways to go with the continuing, but I didn't want to make this video too long. So I just continued this process, finishing off the forehead. However, I didn't cover the handle. I've made a handle for mine. I didn't cover that with the paper mache clay because I'm going to be wrapping that in something else. Please like, share and subscribe if you enjoyed this video. It always helps the channel to grow and helps other viewers to connect with the channel and to see a process that they may not have been able to find otherwise. And so here is the finished and dried head. I haven't coated this area here because I want to do something else with this. And as I mentioned, I haven't covered this because I'm going to be covering it with something else. So it's really hardened now that it's dried, and it has dried very nicely. There are still a few areas, you can just see these lighter patches that I'm still waiting for those to dry out. Other than that, I'm very happy with how it's turned out, and I hope that you have as much success with your projects, and I will see you on the next video. Thanks for joining me. Bye. Ciao for now.